Hello everyone, how are you all doing? Hope you're all well. So I'm Nikki Thomas, career success coach and founder of Winning in Work, the career podcast. So how many of you have been listening to the most recent episodes? So most recent episode on the podcast is Alex Allen, who is talking about how your past does not define your future. So if you haven't listened to it yet, it's on Apple, it's on Spotify, it's on Google, it's on Stitcher. So definitely have a listen to the Winning in Work podcast because it's actually quite relevant to what I want to talk to you today about. And that is what happens if you're now at a stage, because we're all kind of seeing the end of lockdown. We don't know how far away the end is, but we can see it, which is one step closer than where we all were a week or two ago when, let's face it, we had no idea what was going on. So we are hopefully seeing an end, whether we're in the States, whether we're in Australia, New Zealand, whether we are in the UK and Europe. So we are starting to see some glimmer of hope. But out of that glimmer of hope, it's also looking at what happens if this isn't where we want to be. What happens if this has been the big wake-up call that we really should have looked at, we should have had ages ago? What happens if this is now your stage of going, well, but I don't want to come off furlough, or I don't want to go back to the office, or I don't want to go back and do my old job. I want change. Like life before lockdown, don't get me wrong, I loved my friends. I miss them. I miss the busyness of life. I miss the freedom of being able to leave the house whenever I want. I miss I don't know if I miss the underground just yet, but I do miss, there's loads of things about life before lockdown that I really do miss. But I know there's also a lot of things about life before lockdown that I don't miss. And actually, let me know in the comments, what is it that you don't miss about lockdown? Because this is actually it. There are loads and loads of things that we miss about our previous life, but there's also a whole lot of our life that we do not miss. And that's one of the big things that may make you feel now, is this right? Do I really want to go back to what my old life was? Because I know for me, I love having time to myself. I love everything slowing down a bit. I love the fact that now I can actually actively think about things, and before I do them, I know that whenever I write a message to someone, I actually give it some real thought rather than just quickly typing away and pressing send. I'm not feeling like I am at the mercy of my phone as much, because I have a lot more time to respond to people. And I think that's it. Like, you've got to look at what the good things and the bad things about your life before COVID-19. And it is tough because there are a lot of people that, are wishing and praying that life will go back to normal and go back to the way that life was. But what you've got to take out of it is take the positives as well as the negatives out of it. And actually just start thinking, if you are worried about going back to your old life, start to think about why. Is it just the nervousness and the anxiety of, going back to normal? Is it the worry of, being put around people again? A lot of us are introverts and we don't want to be back in, surrounded by people, having to tirelessly, keep up with socialising. What is it? Or is it actually the job? Is it just that the job wasn't what you wanted and you don't want to go back into it? Maybe you were looking for something else, but now you definitely want that something else. Let me know in the comments, what is it about life after COVID that you're worried about? Because I can respond back to you directly there. But because I know that now that we're experiencing life on lockdown, how many of us have realised how we are wasting very little food? We used to waste quite a lot, didn't we, when we were all very busy, and we'd get to the end of the week and you just have your spinach just turned into a slush at the bottom of the packet, and you're chucking it all away because everything's run out of date and everything's gone mouldy. Now it's kind of like you eat your leftovers. You're really conservative about what you do with your food, and you're really caring about the time that you have, and the time that you make for people. I feel that we all look after each other a lot more. I mean, how many times have we spoken to our friends? I've spoken to friends on a weekly basis that before I would speak to twice a year. You know, I've really made an effort with speaking to people, and I know that a lot of people have as well. You know, and the best way to look at it as well is that we've paid a lot for this. We've paid a lot for this downtime. We've paid, you know, we've paid with our lives effectively, a lot of us, or a lot of our family members, but we've effectively been, while we've been put in lockdown, we've paid for it. We've paid for it, whether it's been a lack of income, or we've only got our 80% instead of 100%, or, you know, or whatever, not having our freedom. We have paid to see what life is like at a slower pace. And so now we've got to look at, what do we want for the future when we come out? And if you are really worried about work, let me know, because we can definitely talk about it. You're not in this on your own. I'm actually talking to a employment lawyer. It's New Zealand time, so it's 3:00 New Zealand time, 4 a.m. UK time. So UK people, you can watch the replay. But we will be talking about on Thursday, you know, the difficulties of going back, and those sort of questions that you really, really want to ask, but you're too worried to ask your employer. And this is the one thing, you know, if you are worried about going back and you're just worried and anxious about the unknown, do not be afraid to talk to your employer. We get really worried thinking that if we stick our head above the parapet, then we're just going to get like knocked off and sort of removed from the organisation. And it's not like that at all. You know, employers are just navigating this as much as we are. You know, they don't know what they're doing. They don't know what's going on. They're trying to figure it out, and we are trying to figure it out. So, you know, this is the perfect time to drop an email to your employer and just say, hey, look, while I'm on furlough, or, you know, while I'm working from home, I just wanted to go and get an idea of what's going on. And you give me some information. Can I help with anything in any way? You know, have that open dialogue. If there's a question, a burning question that you're worried about, ask those questions. You know, don't suffer in silence, and don't feel like you're all alone here, because this has never happened before. We are trying to navigate a really weird and horrible for a lot of us climate at the moment, and we don't know what's going to happen work-wise. So don't feel that you are completely on your own. And if you're scared to speak to your boss and you think that they are unreasonable people, then ask yourself, is that a company that you want to stay in? Companies are still hiring, and maybe it is worth just picking up the phone and speaking to a recruitment consultant. That it doesn't mean that you have to leave your job. No one needs to know that you've had that conversation. But if you're worried about speaking to somebody, and you want to know a little bit more about what all this means, just give a recruitment consultant a call. Just speak to them and just say, look, these are my worries. What do you think I should do in this situation? You know, this is a perfect time as well to blow the dust off a CV and just start making it up to date and relevant for now. Because not saying that you are going to leave your job, but, you know, just get yourself ready, look into it, you know, just speak it. And recruitment consultants they are still busy, they are still working, but it's really important just to give them a call and just say, this is what I'm worried about, or I really want to move jobs, but I'm aware that the climate's a little bit awful right now, and I just want to check if I can do this or not, because they're going to know what's going on in the market, and they're going to be there to help you. And I think that you need to not be too scared to go and speak to people and ask for help, because we are all here to help each other. That's the one thing that we've learned through the whole of COVID-19. If nothing else, we have learned that we are all in this together, and we are all trying to navigate this climate all together. So, you know, it is a horrible, you will have that moment where it might just be adapting back into work, could be that's leaving you worried, or it could actually be that this might not be the right job for you. But whatever it is, you need to sit down, just have a think, give yourself a bit of a break, give yourself some time just to think it through, because worrying about it and being anxious about it is one thing, but feeling like you're all alone, you've got no one to talk to, is a completely different thing altogether. As I say, you know, drop a comment on here or just drop me a message. I'm really happy to go and talk to you about it. And just feel that you're not alone, because it is a worrying climate. We've never done this before. You know, and as I say, there are loads of things about life before lockdown that we love and we miss. There are loads of things we don't. And we just need to make sure that we don't forget this lesson that we're all in at the moment, where we're learning what our priorities, we're learning about reevaluating and reflecting on how life has been for us so far and where we want to go. You know, and this is a really, really important time for us. We need to just think, what do I want to go into when we are out of lockdown? So I hope that's helped. I hope that's given you something to think about, some food for thought. As I say, drop me a DM, like a message, a DM. Obviously, feel free to write in the comments as well. And just let me know what it is that you're looking for, what it is that's holding you back from wanting to go back to work. And we can start talking about it together because, as I say, we are all in this together. We are all here to help each other. And I don't want you to feel like you're all alone in this. So I'm Nikki Thomas. It's been great to speak to you all today. As I say, the podcast Winning in Work, we've currently got Alex Allen episode up, and we will be speaking to a quantum physicist ballerina that will be going live later this week as well. So I'll speak to you soon, and take care, guys. See ya.